Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Daniel Graves. It's 1 a.m. on this Monday and just got the latest advisory in from the National Hurricane Center. Here is the latest. Winds are still 60 miles per hour. Its movement has changed and it has sped up a little bit. It's moving to the west at 12 miles per hour. That doesn't really change too much with the timing for any potential landfall because it is expected to really slow down as we get into the day. So it is expected to strengthen. It is expected to become a Category 1 hurricane as we go into Monday evening. If you missed the 10 o'clock advisory, there was a shift toward the east where it was to the west of the mouth of the Mississippi River, kind of over Plaquemines Parish, going over New Orleans, and then cutting into St. Tammany. You can see whereas it has shifted to the east, now going to pass to the east of the mouth of the Mississippi River. Now, this is according to this forecast track. This is not set in stone, and then make a turn, maybe skirt the outer portions of St. Bernard Parish, and then make a landfall in Hancock County as a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 80 miles per hour. And so the brunt of the impacts, if this is the track that it takes, all would be on the east side of the storm, which would be much of South Mississippi, and then a lot of storm surge. Coastal flooding still a concern for southeast Louisiana, and of course still some rainfall closer toward the center that could lead to flooding. Do note the cone though. The National Hurricane Center does say that the error can be up to 80 miles at times, so not to focus exactly on this current track because as we've been seeing happening, it does change so that cone extends into Alabama or even shifting back toward the west. So again, the impacts that we see are of course going to depend on where this actually ends up going. And so what we've been seeing from the hurricane models earlier, the National Hurricane Center's track was more west with a lot of the storms models clustered across South Mississippi, and so now that shift has occurred, but some of those models wanting to take it even further toward the east. And so the National Hurricane Center is looking at that, and we may see some more shifts in further advisories. Latest satellite imagery, you can kind of start to see where the center is trying to form. You see the flare up of activity where the purples are, and so we're seeing a lot more cloud cover expanding from the system and all the rainfall associated with it really on the eastern side. On the west side, you've got that dry air still and not much happening. That's why when it makes landfall, if we're on the west side of this, the impacts would be much lower. When can we start to expect some impacts to move into our area? Well, the most likely arrival time for tropical storm force winds looks to be Monday afternoon down toward the mouth of the Mississippi River, going into the evening, overnight into Tuesday, spreading a little bit further toward the North Shore and South Mississippi. So I think through the first half of the day on Monday, we may not see too much happening. Wind speeds 18 miles per hour at the lakefront. You're 17 down toward Port Fourchon, and notice where the winds are coming out of right now, generally out of the northeast. It's when we're going to start to get that push of that water on shore as this system draws closer that we're really going to start to see that coastal flooding and that storm surge concern. So going into your early morning hours, you see not too much happening by 7 o'clock. Some showers trying to make their way on shore, definitely down toward the coast through the late morning afternoon hours. And then we are going to see some rainfall passing through. Could be heavy at times, but we're also going to see some drier patches as well. Going into Monday evening, you see it starting to approach the coast. This really heavy rainfall going into Tuesday morning, sitting just offshore. And as that continues to push in, we're going to see some heavy rainfall for an extended period of time, and that's where we have that flash flooding concern. So with the American model, and it's been kind of hinting at this jog toward the east, you see that heavy rainfall arriving by midnight near the eastern parts of the mouth of the Mississippi River, and then with the center and that heavy rainfall around it, kind of near lower Plaquemines, St. Bernard Parish, and then pushing into Mississippi by Tuesday afternoon. Notice not much movement within this, so that heavy rain is just going to be persistent for an extended period of time. And then by Wednesday afternoon into Thursday, you still got kind of a tail here that may leave some remnant showers, but we'll see that center moving away and gradually some drier conditions as we head toward the end of the week. And so some different stories being played out here with the American model, and it's showing it mainly going toward Mississippi. Look at that, 11, 12 inches of rain, still 5 at Slidell, almost in Bogalusa, 2 inches lakefront and Belle Chase, and it gets even less as you head toward the west because being on the west side of the storm, you will have lesser impacts. The European model is not updated yet. It's still taking that track over toward Lafourche Parish and then moving on shore. And so the center of it passing, say, right over the lakefront, that's where you have those higher totals from the lakefront to Slidell and across the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So again, it's going to depend where that center goes. And unfortunately, we still could have some shifts in the track, and that's going to play a part in our impacts here. However, we still have hurricane warnings in place across most of southeast Louisiana going into South Mississippi. Storm surge is going to be a concern because this is going to be a slow mover. So there's just going to be a constant stream of water getting pushed outside of levee protection. 7 to 11 foot storm surge from the mouth of the Mississippi River going through the Sounds into Lake Borgne and then across Mississippi and even over into Alabama. 4 to 6 feet, Grand Isle, Port Fourchon up toward the mouth of the Mississippi River, and then 4 to 6 feet over Lake Pontchartrain. Flash flood watch in place until Thursday morning. Not everyone is going to see these totals, 8, 16 to 24 inches. If it takes the path where it's going toward Mississippi, those totals will definitely be possible along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. They would be lighter out toward the west if that center stays just to our east.